This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Want to pull off the season's freshest trends? You just need the right shoes. That's where Designer Shoe Warehouse comes in. Loving wide-leg jeans? Pair them with sleek, low-profile sneakers. Obsessed with the sheer trend? Try it with mesh flats. Feeling boho? Comfy sandals nail the whole free-spirited thing. Find on-trend shoes from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at DSW.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
At the Friday Feast, it's Nordo in for PA. The vocal maintenance days continue here in the 651 Carpets Plus studios. Eventually, I will bring you the Timber Tech set list of the day on a Friday. But first, I want to bring in, we're opening the show with an awesome guest, Rocco Mediate, longtime professional golfer. It's U.S. Open time. So I want to dig into golf with Rocco. He's played in a bunch of these things, like 15, I believe, 3 top 10 finishes, including second in the 08 after a marathon match with Tiger Woods. Joining me now, good morning, Rocco. Thanks for giving me some time.
Good morning, E. What's going on? Good to be home.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, and it's good to have you back home. Now, this is with the Open at Oakmont. You're a Pennsylvania native, and it's in PA. Yeah. How much experience do you have with this bear of a course, Rocco?
Played it a million times. Well, a lot of times, maybe not a million. But yeah, I played the '94 Open there also. It's just, as you're seeing right now, it's coming. Like the USJ, when they set an Open up, they'll go from easy. Well, I mean, define easy, and getting harder as the week goes on. So yesterday was the easiest scoring day. Today they'll tighten it. Saturday they'll tighten it, and then Sunday they'll really tighten it. So you're going to see somewhere around par probably winning this thing, give or take. It depends if it rains, but it's just evil. It's in a good way. It's why it's had its 10th Open.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I think that's the record amount for any singular location, the 10th edition of it at Oakmont. And that's really what the U.S. Open is about, right, Rocco? They want to make it the most impossible, unsolvable puzzle ever for you guys? Yeah,
what they do, it's, par, Eric, was invented, obviously however many zillion years ago, but it was invented for a reason. So in the early days, I would think that par was hard to make because, back in, 100 whatever years ago, a 400-yard par 4 you could hardly reach into, back in the day.
Yeah.
So I think what the USGA's tried to do is make par relevant. And most U.S. Opens, especially the ones that, this week especially, because this is the hardest venue, par will be quite relevant. And I think that's good. I like the fact, I always enjoyed Opens because I knew they were impossible. And if you made a lot of pars, not any big mistakes, you were going to be around the deal there. So it's not like any other event. It's my favorite major. Obviously, it's our National Open, so that's one of the reasons. But what you're seeing at Oakmont is normal. Everyone's like, oh, look what they shot yesterday. I said, yeah, that was Thursday. So as you see today, I was watching a little bit of it today. It's tightening down. There's not even any wind blowing, so that's how hard that place is.
You guys are out there competing. You're competing for trophies, a little bit of cash, and a little bit of walking around money is part of it. This is your profession, but for hacks like me, the rubes, the layman, to see the best golfers on the planet shank one in the trees or skull one into a bunker, It's that moment. It makes me feel, hey, I did that 7 times at Stonebrook and Shakopee last weekend. They're just like me, Rocco, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, what this Open's doing, and it's making fairways relevant again too. So if you miss these fairways with the rough the USGA grow, you really literally can't play. You have to lay it up and make par a different way, hopefully. So I think that's a huge deal in U.S. Opens. Drivers, most of the Opens I played, the fairways were 30 yards wide at best.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed that. Like the hands widen some of these fairways a little bit too, which I don't like at Oakmont. But they have to make it playable for the members too, by the way, because it is the members' course. But if you're going to have an Opens, some of these fairways are much wider than they used to be, but it's still difficult. There's so much slope and the ball's running, so you have to make some of them a little bit wider in spots. But the best driver this week, the straightest driver this week, will be right there at the end.
Yeah,
because it's an advantage.
Is there a signature aspect of it? You think about Augusta, like Amen Corner, various aspects of courses. With Oakmont in particular, is it like the Church Pews bunker, like that massive bunker they have there that affects a couple of holes?
I mean, that's definitely something that everybody remembers, but the signature is all 18 greens. It's like all the greens are like, what? Who built this? And it was, like I said, you either love it or hate it, but this is its 10th Open. It's 3 more than any other venue. So that tells a story. So the greens are the defense. I mean, it's not easy tee to green, but it's way easier tee to green than it is once you get on those things or around them. And the rough's still high around them. It takes away a little bit of, you can practice it, but it doesn't matter. It's so difficult, and the greens are so unreceptive that you have to be in front. The ball has to stay in front of you somehow. And it won't. It's just golf. Just golf is that way.
How different, whether it's those impossible greens or just at a functional level, the guy that tees off at 6:40 in the morning to the early afternoon guys? I'm picturing like morning dew, maybe the greens are slower in the morning. Can you make some hay in the AM before the sun comes out?
100%. Usually that's like it is at all times. It's like this morning you can see they're a little soft. I mean, they're not really soft at all, but they're a little softer than they're going to be in about 5 hours. So, but it is overcast up there right now. It's kind of damp. It looks like it's going to rain tomorrow and the next day. It looks like it. But even soft, the length of that golf course now, it's much longer. I don't know how much longer they made it since I've been there, but it's a lot longer, 400, 500, 600 yards longer. And well, maybe not that far, but 400 or 500 yards. And so even if it does get soft, then it plays longer, and then you have to hit longer clubs into those greens. It will not get real soft because they drain well. I mean, they redid the whole place in 23. So it definitely in the morning better. The wind usually doesn't blow as much in the morning, but there's nothing going on today. So, but the scores, there's a couple guys playing good, but it's nasty out there. I was just watching some of the stuff. It's just nasty.
Yeah. And JJ Spawn, it looks like yesterday was gripping and ripping, gets into the clubhouse with the 4 under. Koepka in the mix right now through 9 at 2 under. Who are some guys right now as you watch it? You got your own work, of course, Tour Champions and your schedule there, but getting the chance as a fan and a guy that's lived and breathed this thing, who are some guys you think are playing the best golf right now, like the Scheffler types, consistently impressive dudes on the course? Who are you loving?
Yeah, Scotty, I felt like Scotty would take this one down before the event started because he's got all the aspects Oakmont needs. Very straight driver, one of the best iron player on tour. He putts just fine, but he's a little off right now, But if you're, I don't know that 4 under is going to be leading when the day's out. I think it's going to be less. So it's like the first day, it's great to get out to a good start, which gives you some breathing room because you're going to need it. Because, JJ, who I love the way JJ swings the golf club, not surprised that he shot a good score. He's very straight, plenty long enough. But as it tightens down, he hasn't made a bogey yet in 18 holes, which is ridiculous around Oakmont. I don't care if you put him in the middle of the fairway with a 9-iron every hole. It's hard not to make a bogey. But down. And it will be interesting. But I don't know. It's hard to look up. And Morikawa's hanging in there. Scotty's hanging in there. He's even par today. Well, I don't know what he did on 17. But it's just, if you're around somewhere around, I'd say obviously even par after today, but that might be leading. We don't know. But if you're 4 or 5 over par going into the weekend, you have a massive chance to win the golf tournament. Because I don't think anyone's going to go out and run yet. They may do it in the weekend if it rains, but right now, Scotty's still, in fact, Koepka's looking like Koepka. That's bad for those guys. He looks just like he did when he won all his other majors. Hitting it pretty good, putting nice, doesn't care. Like I said, Morikawa's right there. Hovland's hanging around. He hasn't been around in a while. And those are the guys right now. So we'll see the afternoon way what's going on. But the jury's out. There's no favorite right now. There just isn't. I love Koepka right now. So I would put him on my list. The way he played yesterday, the way he finished, the way he plays these events. He hadn't been around for a while, but he's around now.
Well, Rocco, as you mentioned, Brooks Koepka, it was one thing I wanted to dig into at least a bit with you is, Rory wins. He finally gets that slam after 11 years, right? Takes down the Masters, and everyone's pumped for Rory. But Koepka's another good example where he jumps out of the gates like a rocket. He wins 4, I think, back-to-back Opens in 2017 through 2019. He can't be beat. Then it takes him 4 years to win his 5th. So he's dominating. Then it feels like he's fading, or at least he's mid-lane, always in the pack, of course. But then he finds himself back at the top, and that's just really impressive to me. Whether it's a Koepka or it's in this case more recently with Rory, what is part of that process where you just can't be beat for this extended period of time? You lose it, but then you find it again.
When Koepka goes to majors, even though he hasn't been playing that great, we don't get to see him play anymore on LIV. He doesn't play as much. So you see, he hasn't played any majors in the last few years any good. I mean, obviously he won the PGA, 2 years ago, so it's not like it's been that long.
Right.
But when he gets locked down like he is right now, something, I wouldn't know that feeling. I've never won those big events, but something happens to him. He trusts himself. He's fearless. And he just knows that a lot of the guys aren't in this event. So he knows he's got to beat a handful of guys in these events. And if he's on, he's going to be right there. And as of now, through 27 holes, he's right there. If he goes out in the back nine and shoots even par, 1 under, whatever, or more, but if he goes out and shoots even par, say, and he finishes 2 under, you got to put money on that boy in the weekend because he's, like I said, he's not afraid. Does that mean he's going to win? No problem. No, but he'll be there. He'll be there.
Now, Rocco, you're talking about just getting is the strategy element of that, knowing this course in Oakmont where you've played a ton. But the interesting part about the U.S. Open is, obviously it changes and rotates courses. The strategy of when to take that risk, as you mentioned. Well, maybe, we would just want to hang around till Saturday, then we push it. What's the strategy? Maybe you're talking with your caddy. Maybe it's the mental games you play on your own, but the strategy of when to really stretch that club, try to make that play on a particular hole. How does that all work together?
It just depends on where you are, but, the prescription at Oakmont is in every tournament, every major, every tournament period is the fairways and greens, period. So if you're hitting more fairways than anybody on the weekend, you will have more opportunities. There's some places you can't play to the hole. There's some pin placements that you can't play to because if you miss, you can't even sniff making par. So it's like sometimes you have to play away. That's the hard part. Koepka's quite disciplined. So Scotty. All the best players are very disciplined. You could have a wedge in your hand knowing full well that you're going to try to hit it 20 feet. Okay, and that sounds good the most, but most times you're shooting at the flag with the wedge, but sometimes you can't. And that's where you want a loss, because when you take a shot on certain holes and miss, it's over. There's no recovery whatsoever.
Yeah. Especially
with the 5-6 inch rough. It's just, you can take shots at normal events. Who cares? You miss a little right, pitch it up, make par, go away. You can't do it here. And that's how it's supposed to be, really.
I had a listener text in 64686, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line. I do want to dig into previous Open experiences, of course, but I knew you played in the 94 at Oakmont. I didn't know you played with Palmer in the Open at Oakmont.
I got a call from USGA in Aprilish maybe. And I wasn't playing. I was hurt there. I had surgery a month after that Open. That's when I went down. So I was a mess trying to play through it, and I didn't play any. I played like a little bit in January of that year, and then they called, and I hadn't played. I'm trying to get better. They said, we want you to, Mr. Palmer would like to play, his last Open, because, we're both from the same, we both grew up 40 minutes from there.
Wow.
So I said, oh my gosh, I'm thinking, I had to withdraw from Augusta that year. That was a hard phone call. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I kind of got ready, and I made the cut at Westchester, which was shocking, the week before the Open. And then I went and I was ready. I would have crawled around that course for 2 days to play those 2 days with him. I made the cut, and then I shot 75 on Saturday. I couldn't even get off taking my shoes off on Saturday. I couldn't even get off the bench. So I couldn't even play Sunday. But watching him those 2 days was so much fun, and he should have made the cut. Actually, he just putted so badly, which everybody can there, but he didn't. But it was one of the most amazing. It was probably one of the top 2 or 3 highlights of my entire golfing career was just being with him those 2 days.
That's super.
Sure.
That's amazing. And the ambassador, of course. I mean, we could call him an OG of sorts. Just the ultimate synonymous with the sport, Arnold Palmer. But you think about those important moments where the old guy gets with the young guy, and kind of that baton tossing or handing off generationally in this particular sport. Special moments like that mean a ton in carrying the culture of golf forward, doesn't it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it does. And he taught me everything about how to be, and not just golf either. And, you try to be like him, but you can't. It's just, you fail a lot of times because he just set such a high bar. That bar is different now. I don't know what it is, but it's not what he did. But, yeah, he was done. He finished. He lost a playoff to Jack in 62 and was close. He was leading going to Sunday in 73, and Johnny shot 63, and that was the end of that. So he had 2 legit chances to win basically in our hometown. Came up short a little bit, but he kind of made it what it is today for us.
Yeah.
He's the guy who did all this. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Huge in that. Brought TV to us. Brought exciting. Brought not normal the way they play. It was not. Mr. Palmer played great, but it wasn't necessarily pretty. He just hit his ball as hard as he could. And he won, I think, 7 professional majors, if I recall, give or take. But he was one of the best of all time, and he was the best of all time with people. Period. There's nobody even close. They try to be, but they're not.
Speaking of your experiences in U.S. Open, of course, your top 10 finishes, one of them being the playoff with Tiger in 08. In 2018, Rocco, they changed the playoff rule. Are you annoyed at all that you had to sweat it out on a Sunday night into a Monday to play ultimately 19 more holes against Tiger? Now the kids get out by playing a couple. It's ridiculous.
No, absolutely not. I think every major championship should be 18 holes, period. It's too important to have a sudden death playoff.
Yeah.
Too important. I think what they did, I know it's all for TV though. See, that's the sad part, but it's the true part. I mean, I understand that part, but I don't. I think every single one. Back in the old days, if you tied after 18, you played 18 more.
Yep.
There wasn't any sudden death stuff here. So I would love it to be that way. I would have loved to have kept playing with Tiger that week and played 18 more holes. I would have wanted, no problem. I mean, I might not have made it, but it's been fun trying, right? But I think they're too important to have sudden death or 3-hole aggregates or 2. It's just because of TV. I mean, like I said, I understand it, but I don't. But all that we didn't have a 2 or 3 hole playoff. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever, 18 holes. But we'll never see it again, unfortunately.
Yeah, that stinks, man. I mean, you even look at your playoff round with Tiger. Like you were 3 back after 10. He bogeys a couple, then you birdied 3 in a row to actually take the lead. That action, that moment can't happen if we're just playing the sudden death or a 2 or 3 hole aggregate.
Oh no, it's not. Nothing can happen. Like it's too much. It's too quick for the importance of the event. Like Augusta National is a sudden death playoff. I don't get it. I don't. It should be. It used to be 18 holes. Like I said, there were 18-hole playoffs, and then TV and everything else. But regular events. Not that they're not important, but they're not majors. So sudden death or whatever they do, they're all sudden death playoffs. But I think majors should be 18 holes, but they won't. So it doesn't matter what we think.
Yeah. Now, with that said, we talk about the 08 Open a bunch. I've had the chance on this show to ask you about your experiences with Tiger, and I'm just curious. Long career that you've had. Why don't more people bring up the 01 U.S. Open at Southern Hills? You were in a freaking meat grinder with Stuart Sink, Retief Goosen, Mark Brooks, Sergio.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about two guys, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson. They absolutely just clomp around on Sunday and lose themselves out of it. You finished fourth in the mix. What was that grind down in Tulsa like in 01?
Yeah, that's the one that disappoints me the most, actually. I literally should have won that golf tournament. I three-putted twice on the back nine, and that kind of killed me. I birdied the 18th hole, but it didn't. I didn't have a chance to win. Well, you thought you never know because there's still groups behind us. But I don't know. I finished a couple out of the playoffs, I think. I don't remember, but I had a couple three putts on the back nine. Played nice, but in open greens, especially Southern Hills, which was one of my favorites, still is. Right there. It was so much fun. So I talk about that one a lot myself because I was right there. It was so cool. And then 05, I had a pretty good week too. I had Tiger on Sunday also, which was a lot of fun. I don't know where I finished. I finished in the top 10 somewhere in 05. But I always enjoyed the events. I mean, they were all different venues. Where were we? We're in the Southern Hills, Torrey Pines, and then they're all over the country. So, but I love USGA events. I love the way they set the course up. I know a lot of people are going to be beat before they start. Might beat me, but not before I tee off. I mean, come on, give yourself a chance. But I don't know. Those events were always so fun for me. And I wish I got one of them. That would have been so cool, but I didn't.
Well, I mean, you've been playing pro golf for about 4 decades, Rocco. So, successes and just you build up that career, and there's a ton to talk about. But I am curious, if you were to analyze your own game, and I'm sure you do a lot of self-critiquing, might be part of the job, in fact. Is there a reason?
Probably too much self-critiquing, yes.
I'm with you there. Is there a reason you could point to and just look at your own game and say, this is why I always had more success in a U.S. Open maybe versus, say, Augusta or the other 3 majors in general? Because you look at your career, Rocco, and you were game. We're talking about these hard-ass courses, and you were always game in these things, maybe even more so than you were at another event.
Yeah, it was. I always played courses where you had to hit it good. So much now, maybe, but back in the day, we'll call it, I always hit my ball solid, and I always felt like I had a chance. I mean, if I was hitting it good, and because I always drove fairly well, let's put it that way. Did I hit all the fairways? Well, of course not, but I drove in a lot of them, and that sets up bullcrap, drive for show, putt for dough. It's completely the opposite. You got to drive first before you can putt.
Yeah.
If you don't drive good, you're gonna be putting for pars. That's what you're gonna be doing. So that's where I always thought I was good at, was putting my ball from point A, getting my ball point A to point B, efficiently. Like I said, it didn't happen all the time, but I enjoyed those courses where that had to happen. Some of the events I won on the regular tour were exactly that. Doral, Greensboro, very difficult, narrow golf courses. Even Phoenix, the year I won was really nasty. I mean, I think I won by 2 at 11 under. That finishes like 20th usually. So the score's usually low. And just the courses I won on were not like Grand Blanc and at the Buick Open. Yeah, we shot low scores, but it was a narrow tough little golf course. It's, you had to keep the ball in the fairways is what I'm saying. So, most of the venues I won on were exactly that. Exactly that.
Couple more for you here. I was getting a couple of text messages in during our conversation, and it's always, for instance, this one right here. That Monday versus Tiger was one of my favorite days of my life. Thanks to him for that. I was mentioning it yesterday to somebody that I was going to have you on. They mentioned that event. What is it like for you at this stage? You call it back in the day, so some years have gone by, but is kind of the idea. It's like, hey, I remember Rocco Mediate. It's that playoff versus Tiger. What does that mean to you when you hear golf fans, calling you out, praising you, and respecting you for what you gave the game, but one of the iconic moments in U.S. Open history back in 2008?
Yeah, I get it. I still get it. I mean, almost every day when I'm out wherever, airport, it doesn't even matter where I am. Someone will mention something. And I love it. Everyone says, is it okay to talk about the Open? I'm like, yeah, it was the most fun I've ever had. I just didn't get the trophy. Can't have more fun than that, losing, we'll say. But a lot of people say, they'll say something. You'll appreciate this, Eric. Well, you got so much mileage out of losing. I'm like, it's not my fault. I don't come out and announce it. You guys ask. So I answer the question. It's like, I don't mind talking about it, and I talk about it just about I talk about it all the time because I get asked questions. And it was definitely the coolest thing ever on the golf course. Like, I just didn't get the trophy, but it was so much fun. The saddest part about it was we didn't get to keep playing.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to be out there with him, and then, obviously at the U.S. Open, you can't hide. It was just the coolest thing ever. So, but yeah, it's cool to be known for that. I'm fine with it. I got no problems. It was, sometimes a U.S. Open playoff or a U.S. Open, for instance, like this week, let's just say this week, guy's got a 2-shot lead coming down 18, group out, and he hits it in the bunker on the right, which you can't get out of, and say he makes a 7 and loses, right?
Yeah.
That ruins careers. Okay? But if you get beat in the U.S. Open because you got beat, it doesn't ruin careers. It hurts, but it doesn't ruin you. Let's say you 3-putt from 10 feet in the last hole to lose by 1. That ruins careers. Maybe not so much at Oakmont because it's easy to 3-putt from 10 feet there. But you know what I mean? If those weird things happen, like if I hit the ball in the water for my 3rd shot in the playoff with Tiger with a wedge, I'm probably done. My career's probably over. But yeah, it took a little while to recover because I was sad, but it didn't ruin me. Those things can. You've seen that in the past. But it was just, like I said, so much fun to do. And I remember everything. That's my curse. I remember everything from pretty much everywhere. But it was great. And he was great. It was a great time. And, like I said, didn't get the trophy, but man, it was hard. It was fun trying.
Fast forward to now, last thing, the health of golf, whether, we can get into the live nonsense, we can go back and forth on that, but just overall in totality, we were talking about Koepka earlier, talking about Scotty Scheffler, how well he's doing, in overall, the health of golf from a talent standpoint. Are you looking at it and saying we're in a really good spot with the sport, a lot of really good players, a lot of really good golf and personalities? Where's your head at on that?
Yeah, golf is really good right now. We have a dominant number 1 player again, which I like.
Yeah.
I like when someone comes up and says, yeah, I'm just going to beat you guys now for quite some time. And he is. Scotty is doing that. Hasn't been done like this since Tiger. Now, to catch Tiger, he's got to do that for about 7 or 8 more years. Obviously the jury's out on that. But, you got so much talent. The game's changed. They're faster, stronger, bigger. They're better, younger. Which is amazing to me. They're learning quicker. The technology is ridiculous on how much they can learn. These kids coming out of college and high school, for that matter. So it's definitely changed, and there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing wrong with it is we don't get to see some of the guys we want to see because they're on live.
Yep.
We don't get to see Koepka play or Bryson very often. And I kind of miss that. And you can see what it's done to some of their games. It's hurt it a little bit because I don't play a lot. But I think Koepka's trying to make a statement this week on I don't need to play it. I'm still going to beat these guys. So we'll see if that comes true. But I think golf, it couldn't be in a better spot, really, to tell you the truth.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for this morning, Rocco. Really appreciate the insight and sharing some memories with me and the audience. Enjoy the tournament, of course, and we'll catch up again soon, all right?
We will. Anytime. You know where I am.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's Rocco Mediate. And thank you so much to him for spending some time. That kicks off a TimberTech set list on a Friday morning. Let's go Koepka. Burns out of the rough. This 6-inch rough situation. Man, a lot of Nordoing going out on the golf course at Oakmont right now. I can relate, gentlemen. I can relate. I adore Rocco. Thanks for the time again, Mr. Mediate. TimberTech set list is as follows on a Friday feast. Again, vocal maintenance for the host. He'll be back on Monday. A potpourri-style affair today will feature Thor Nystrom around 9:45-ish. We're going to talk. We need some J.J. McCarthyism to take place on these airwaves this morning. Nobody's been a bigger respecter, reverer, and supporter of said McCarthy. So we're going to have Thor Nystrom on around 9:45. Wolves Vox, Alan Horton at 10. Ingesting the NBA Finals. Wolves basketball offseason in play. Second year in a row. We're on the outside looking in. What's up with the Wolves Vox? Next week, by the way, I think Chris Finch, head coach of the Wolves, going to be in studio here with PA on Tuesday. So maybe drop that in your calendar. But Wolves Vox, Alan Horton with me today. Then we'll have Twins bonus. Twins Geek at 11. He should be in studio. You're going to hear the head coach, Kevin O'Connell's press conference later this morning as well. But next, the host, PA, did an interview with Justin Jefferson yesterday, and we're going to play that back next. It's Nordo in for PA on The Fan. Brett Blakemore with me, hanging out on a Friday. The Fan.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
There's a moment every parent remembers. The day their child takes off on 2 wheels. With Guardian Bikes, that moment comes as early as 2 years old, and with less stress and frustration. These bikes are built just for kids. Lightweight frames, low center of gravity, easy to use brakes. Everything about Guardian is designed to help kids ride confidently, often in just 1 day, no training wheels needed. And because Guardian bikes are designed and assembled right here in the USA, you know they're built to last. With care in every detail. Their patented Sure-Stop braking system stops both wheels with a single lever, helping your child stop safely without tripping forward or losing control. Right now, save hundreds when comparing Guardian to its competitors at GuardianBikes.com and get a free lock and pump when you join their newsletter, a $50 value. Visit GuardianBikes.com today to save and help your child learn an essential life skill safely. Guardian Bikes, built for your kid and for the memories you'll never forget.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com. Lenovo.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Oh, but then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Minicamp madness is upon us, of course. Yesterday, the final day of Vikings mandatory minicamp. Everybody on the chill. Technically, there's OTAs next week, but they might be canceled. OTAs in name only is maybe the way we could frame that up. But the host, Vocal Maintenance Days, and he was at Egan yesterday for the minicamp session, and you'll get to hear from the head coach next hour. Kevin O'Connell addressing the media. J.J. McCarthy, I believe, got to the got to the podium. So did Justin Jefferson. But afterwards, the host tracked down Jets and had a 7 or 8 minute conversation with him. Now, I have to preface this because, so in 2014, Brett, I'm new to the fan. And was it 2014? Yeah, I think it was. And one of my first things, I'm out with PA during, I think it was OTAs. And he's going to interview Adrian Peterson. Let's get 5-6 minutes with him as he's coming off the field. I got the portable recorder and all of that. And great conversation with all day. Hit stop. Oh, no. Go back to the studio.
Oh, no.
Whole thing. Next day. Let's play that back for 9 to noon. And I had never recorded the interview. Yeah. And this was early stages. Got to play fast. Find someone to do your job for you. Things were tenuous early on. You don't get a lot of media opportunities with one of the league's best players. And this is all, by the way, it would, ultimately we had a switch. We had some serious turmoil in 2014. This was in the springtime. Teams feeling good about themselves. So I didn't record the interview. He was very unhappy with me.
Did the button not?
So
what happened?
I had to hit it twice. The first record shows the levels. The second record physically records it. I can tell you, though, I learned from my mistakes. That would never happen again. So the host has this recording contraption on his phone, and he plug it into on his iPhone, and then it has like a nice mic and such, and it improves the sound quality, record a voice note or whatnot, and you can send it MP3 style or M4A. Well, he hooked that up.
Oh, no.
And had the entire conversation, not recording with the mic, recording with the audio, with the microphone on his phone. So this will not be the clearest, and I spent 25 minutes this morning trying to fix this thing up the best I could. I did my best. But here is Paul Allen from his iPhone speaker from like 5 feet away with Justin Jefferson. Let's listen.
All right, my man, appreciate you. Here we are with one of the great game changers, not only in the NFL, but the core of pro sports, and somebody who has a birthday next week, Justin Jefferson. Do you have big birthday plans next week? Because it falls at a perfect time, and what I mean, if it's like during the season, it's great to have family and friends around, get a cake, go get some steak, stuff like that. But, I mean, this falls the week after the first grind, before the second grind.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. Not too many plans. This year has been the year. I've been a lot of traveling, a lot just being around my family. So not too many birthday plans this year, but just to be around my family, to be thankful for just being alive and getting to live the life that I live.
Justin, is it important to get loose and let yourself go a little bit the next few weeks and then hone in on the job, say around the 4th of July? And why I bring it up is because keeping the mind fresh is so important.
Yeah, it's very important. Mentally, you definitely have to give yourself a break. Just being around this building, all OTAs, of course, just like you said, grinding and just putting in that work every single day. You have to give your body that reset button, mind, mentally that reset button, and just so when it is time to come back and time to get back to things, you're fresh, you're ready to go, and you're looking forward to the upcoming season.
Is this potentially the best overall team with which you've played since you got here?
Oh, for sure. Just looking on paper and seeing the different athletes, different players that we have on that field, it's definitely, a lot of potential that goes in. It just all depends on if everybody is, key to that one goal, which is, getting to that Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. So just like last year, we had a talented team last year as well. This year, we added some more key pieces. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to see the type of team that we really, are this year.
What do you, to this stage, see or know about corner Isaiah Rodgers? Or honestly, do we need to wait for training camp to get to the real battles?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, watched him when he was with the Colts, and just going up against him when he was with the Colts. I'm definitely a fan. He's definitely a speedy guy. He's a guy that has that quick twitch, and I've been seeing him, being used a little bit on the special team side as well. So he's definitely a great pickup. So is Jeff Okudah. Just having guys like that on that defensive side of the ball is definitely great.
Yeah, he's definitely fast. All right, so Isaiah Rodgers, Justin Jefferson, 100 yards for $100. Who wins and why?
I think he got that one.
Wow. Okay.
Looking at his 40 time, seeing his on the field, speed. I think he got it, but just quick. I think I got him in there.
Training camp, we mentioned joint practice with New England this year. I don't think I've ever asked you this. Do you like joint practices?
Yeah, I think I like, especially me. I like them just because I don't really go through the preseason phase of doing the preseason games and just getting my toes wet, just starting the season. So I feel like that those joint practices help me get ready for the season and allow me to really feel that battle, that competition, just going up against those guys for 2 days.
And with McCarthy at age 22, it's all big. But how important is this joint practice? I mean, training camp overall, but like the joint practice, that's going to be super important for him, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, every single rep is important for him. Just being out for last year, not being able to really, have reps last year, experience, just being an NFL quarterback and what it's like being an NFL quarterback. So pretty much this is his first year all over again. So every single rep, every single, moment that he can get to really learn the offense, being able to connect with the coaches, connect with the receivers, especially the joint practices are going to be good to go up against, another team.
All right, a couple more for the man they call Jet. Speaking of McCarthy, undoubtedly there are going to be ups and downs for sure, but just leaving this phase and knowing him from last year, Justin, what do you absolutely know J.J. McCarthy will be good at early in the equation?
Yeah, he has a great arm. That's one thing that he has. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people saying he has a weak arm, but I think differently. Just the velocity on his ball, the tight spiral that he has, and people haven't really seen his deep balls yet. So it's going to be exciting just to see him out there. But just like I always tell him, just to carry himself with confidence. He knows the playbook. He's been studying nonstop. So it's just going out there and just playing football and just allowing himself to play freely.
You attended a lot of Timberwolves games this season. So let me ask you this. If you had to check Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 5 minutes of a game, what would happen?
It would be tough. A lot of fouls called. A lot of free throws.
How about those picks from the big man?
For sure. A lot of screens. But, he's a great player. Just watching him, just like you said, at the Timberwolves games and having a chance to watch the finals now, he's a great athlete. He's a great player, hard to stop him. But you can tell, he's a technician. He has a spot that he likes to get to, but his skill set is unmatched.
All right, last one, because I've been thinking a lot about it. Let's try this. 3-2. What do you think of this? McCarthy fires deep left side, caught, touchdown. Justin Jamal Jefferson, he's Triple J. You don't like it, do you?
I'm not a fan of that one. I'm not a fan of that one. Out of all of the ones, I'm not a fan of that one.
Okay, I knew that, so therefore I crafted this. What about this? Inside the 30, and Justin jets in for the touchdown. Justin jets. Yeah? Yes? No?
I like that one better than the Justin Jamal, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's not.
I feel like you got some room in there. I feel like you got.
Yeah, I got it.
You got that it.
Yeah.
I'm just
when we do this in training camp, A, I better have one. But B, I appreciate the motivation here. It's giving me a little anxiety. That's okay. But the most important thing is an early happy birthday to you, Justin Jefferson. And God bless my man.
Thank you, my guy.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Love.
As Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson with PA from minicamp yesterday. And that's all part of minicamp madness. We're going to jump into, we have JJ McCarthy audio. We have Kevin O'Connell's presser from yesterday. So certainly more football along the way, including next segment, Thor Nystrom, NFL draft guru, and JJ McCarthy truther. We're going to break down the QB and what's going on in minicamp with Thor right around the corner. It's Nordo in for PA.
There's a moment every parent remembers. The day their child takes off on 2 wheels. With Guardian Bikes, that moment comes as early as 2 years old, and with less stress and frustration. These bikes are built just for kids. Lightweight frames, low center of gravity, easy-to-use brakes. Everything about Guardian is designed to help kids ride confidently, often in just one day, no training wheels needed. And because Guardian bikes are designed and assembled right here in the USA, you know they're built to last. With care in every detail. Their patented SureStop braking system stops both wheels with a single lever, helping your child stop safely without tripping forward or losing control. Right now, save hundreds when comparing Guardian to its competitors at GuardianBikes.com and get a free lock and pump when you join their newsletter, a $50 value. Visit GuardianBikes.com today to save and help your child learn an essential life skill safely. Guardian Bikes, built for your kid and for the memories you'll never forget.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, you know, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
9 to noon.
Head back to the 50s at the Minnesota Street Rod Association event June 20th through the 22nd at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Enjoy the classic car marketplace, T6 flyover, the great race, cruise and art craft fair, and so much more. Head over our contest page for your shot at a pair of tickets and get in. KFAN.com, keyword contest there.
Couple text messages. Brandon in New Mexico. Hey, Nordo, good interview. Was that interview PA did with Justin Jefferson done in a Taco Bell drive-thru? Yes, it was. Another text message. Are they making PA do these interviews behind a plastic shield now for everyone's safety? Also, yes. Thank you for listening to 9 to noon on a Friday. Appreciate the host grabbing that interview with Justin Jefferson. Joining me now, JJ of a different flavor, JJ McCarthy. And someone alerted me to some national media yesterday. We talked about it briefly during the show, comparing JJ McCarthy to Danny Werfel. So I had to text Thor Nystrom yesterday and just, I need you on the show this morning. I appreciate you cutting in some time for me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Oh, terrific. You can follow Thor at ThorKU via X. Resident JJ McCarthy fan club president, JJ McCarthy respecter, reverer, supporter, believer. Through minicamp, I just keep seeing and hearing that the kid's looking the part. but I also see the other end of it from the hot take talkers that exist more on a national level. Some of those folks remain unconvinced, Thor, but by all accounts, McCarthy's had a terrific minicamp.
Yeah, he sure has. And you can basically evenly cut this of the people that think he has a strong arm and he has a weak arm, of the people who have watched him play football and the people who haven't. Cough, cough, Colin Cowherd. Ross Tucker might be involved with that too. The people in the building, the people at practices, and the people who have watched his film are all uniform with the talent there and the arm talent.
Well, here's what I'm curious about, Thor, and maybe you can trace the origins or the genesis of this from the standpoint, even a year ago, post-draft, through the summer, and in camp, training camp, and really up and through the injury he sustained against the Raiders in the preseason bit. We never really talked about, is his arm any good? Is it slow? Is it noodly? Can he put pace on the ball? That was never a talker. Do we know where suddenly this became a thing? Because I don't want to say people are going out of their way to talk about it in interviews and such from a positive standpoint in Egan, but somewhere along the way, this popped up and has become a thing when, from my standpoint, it never was.
Yeah, this is from the pre-draft process last year, and there was I won't say names, but there was a couple of respected draft folks that in their scouting reports, they said that he had a weak or a modest arm, and then people with big platforms took that as gospel. And all of a sudden they're espousing that to their big audiences. And now all of a sudden the public believes something that's absolutely not true. And all you need to do to refute it is turn on one game where that kid has played football. His arm strength leaps off the screen. You can't watch one quarter of that kid play and come away thinking that kid has a weak arm. He has an enormous arm. He's number 2 all time NFL max velo throw. They're 61 miles per hour, one less than Josh Allen and Joe Milton, who are tied for the record at 62. But you don't even need to have the quantifiable data. Just watch him play.
Now, and I'm excited to watch him play. I mean, this layoff post minicamp here into camp and eventually games that count, making his debut on Monday Night Football. This is going to be sweet, Thor. But to the team, Donovan Jackson at 24, free agent pickups on the O-line. You add Jordan Mason in late March. You can't say the team hasn't done really everything they can to bolster this offense and put J.J. McCarthy in the best spot to succeed, can you?
That's right. No, this is a Super Bowl contending roster. And Ryan Kelly, who new to the team, comes over from the Colts, said that, and he's been around for a long time, said this is the most talented roster he has ever been a part of. You're already hearing people at camp raving about the roster that they put together. Going beyond the quarterback, you mentioned the interior offensive line. You go from one of the worst interior offensive lines last year, you're going to have one of the best next season. You redid that entire thing. You already had one of the NFL's best bookend tackle duos in Darisaw and O'Neal. And all the other weapons, the skill talent there speaks for itself. One of the NFL's best collections of that, and they improved their defense as well. This team is nasty and dangerous, and it's going to start to get fun here in a second.
So what have you focused on the most, Thor, while just kind of pulling some morsels, some nuggets out of camp, and ultimately the way things have changed? Maybe you're not able to glean as much based on how drills are run, the philosophy, the teaching and learning phase, et cetera. But what are things that you're really sinking your teeth into in terms of, this is the final stretch, and now we have 5-6 weeks to kind of picture this thing before we get to camp?
Yeah, for me, it would be one big picture thing, one small picture thing. The big picture thing sort of goes along with what we're talking about. The excitement coming out of there, and then seeing veterans like Justin Jefferson participating for the first time. It's funny. I don't know if you saw Kevin O'Connell asking Justin Jefferson that question when Justin Jefferson went to the podium of how was it participating this year? And, are you going to do that going forward and stuff like that? But I thought it was so indicative of the way the veterans, how excited they are for this season, that Jefferson and some of those guys participated in that when they hadn't, last season or in seasons past. And then the stuff you're hearing from guys like Kelly and stuff like that, very exciting. The smaller stuff that I look for, it's it's basically the guys on the bottom of the roster, the UDFAs that are flashing. I think that's one thing you can start to see, like Ivan Pace's year, McLaughlin's year. We heard reports of them impressing early, and Ziemai Vaughn, the Utah undrafted free agent cornerback who came in, is impressing early. And then Silas Bolden, the slot receiver from Texas, who could end up stealing the punt returning job. He's a very skilled punt returner. Those are a couple names that have flashed early on. We're going to see some camp battles. This roster is deeper than it has been in years and years and years. So we're going to have some ferocious camp battles, and it's interesting to watch the guys who are already starting to flash.
Where's your last thing for you? Where's your head at on Ty Felton? You do the work on him pre-draft. We know we take the third rounder on Friday night. And then, has any of that changed potentially? I'm asking about two guys here, really, because it's interesting with the OTAs and the minicamp in particular that all these guys look athletic right now. All these guys look good, but Ty Felton, a chance to contribute. But I'm also curious about Rondale Moore and if you've ever had a big spot opinion one way or the other on him. He's just trying to find his own way and making some plays in Arizona, gets sent to Atlanta, and then the tough injury. So maybe some unknowns there. But Ty Felton and Rondale Moore, anything bouncing around in your head on those two guys?
Yeah, starting with Rondale Moore, he's more of a manufactured touch guy, closer to the line of scrimmage, obviously coming out of the slot. And this offense potentially could use him. Rondale Moore is a guy in college when he was at Purdue. I remember this one game. He single-handedly beat Ohio State when Purdue was this heavy underdog because they were just forcing the ball all the time. And then it was Rondale Moore against the world. And he was so awesome. But going to the NFL, it's not the same thing anymore where you're the singular talent guy. He doesn't have the physical skill set for that. So instead, he's a complementary player. He needs spacing to work, right? Because he's going to get all of his touches within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Best case scenario for Rondale Moore is to be surrounded by the best players possible, because that's how you get the spacing, right? When you're playing next to Justin Jefferson, you're playing across from Jordan Addison. Your TJ Hawkinson is on the other side in the intermediate or threatening down the seam. That is how Rondale Moore gets all kinds of room to work with, and he can break tackles when he gets the ball in his hand. So I think this is a good scenario for him. We'll have to see how he bounces back. There's been some health stuff recently and some inconsistencies, but if he's healthy and makes the team, I think he could have a role. As far as Ty Felton, what you're working on with him, it's a two-pronged thing. In the weight room, you're trying to get him stronger, right? He's tall enough, but very, very thin, and play strength has been his issue on the field. So, and that manifests in two ways. Coming off the line of scrimmage and then at the catch point, because he can get jostled and then all of a sudden he starts flubbing balls. On the field, what McCardle's working with him on is the release package, which was too rudimentary at Maryland.
Okay.
Ty Felton's a guy who has all the paint and all the on his canvas, but he needs to work on the brush strokes. That's what McCardle's working with him on.
Elite Draft work at Fantasy Life. Looking forward to hearing you. Hopefully, Fantasy Football Weekly, once that starts popping up again remotely, Charge out in Utah somewhere at a commune or something. But love what you do and your contributions to the fan, man. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. That's Thor Nystrom. You can follow him at ThorKU via X. And just pumped up. I needed a little positive J.J. McCarthyism on a Friday. And he never fails to deliver that. To the Wolves, to the NBA Finals in play. Pacers up 2-1 on OKC. Voice of the Wolves as we enter the offseason summer. There's some rumors. We got trades. The deadline down the road, but the draft later this month. We'll chat with Alan Horton, voice of the Wolves, when we return next. Second hour around the corner on the Fan.
Hi, I'm Danielle Fishel from Pod Meets World. So for my two boys, I got Samsung Galaxy Watch for Kids. And I'm not saying I'm kind of jealous of my kids' tech. I'm saying I am definitely jealous of my child's tech. This thing lets them call, text, and explore all from their wrist. No smartphone required. And don't worry, you're still the boss. You control who they can talk to, and yes, you can totally stalk their location in real time. Get Galaxy Watch 7 on T-Mobile, now kid-ready with a new paired line. Visit T-Mobile.com to order yours today. Parent and child must have a Samsung account and Google account with Family Link. Requires initial pairing with a compatible Samsung smartphone and qualifying wireless plan with LTE service activated. Please check with your carrier for more information. Trusted contact applies to compatible apps. It does not restrict communication through third-party or other communication apps. Emergency services and contacts remain accessible. Location sharing is dependent on network connectivity and device being recently active. T-Mobile terms via 24 monthly bill credits when you add a qualifying paired watch line. See additional offer terms on T-Mobile.com.
Now, you can watch the best of Hulu on Disney Plus. The hottest Hulu shows and movies right next to your Disney Plus favorites. With Hulu on Disney Plus, dive into new seasons of The Handmaid's Tale, 9 Perfect Strangers, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and Welcome to Wrexham. And don't miss Star Wars Andor Season 2 and Marvel's Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. All these and more, now streaming with Hulu on Disney Plus with a bundle subscription. Available with bundle plans starting at $10.99 a month. Terms apply. Visit DisneyPlus.com/Hulu for details.
The stakes do not get any higher.
I pledge allegiance to what I believe in. Live to fight another day if yesterday beat me. And I ain't getting younger, but I'm getting better. Got no time to waste, that's another man's treasure. They say every dog has his day. These are the days.
The two very best in the NBA.
Pacers, Thunder, the NBA Finals, presented by YouTube TV, continue on ABC.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.